I think what we uncovered was that the mainstream newspaper in Kansas City, the Kansas City Star, and its sister paper, the Kansas City Times, had for over 100 years ignored or unfairly or inadequately covered the Black community. In many cases, we just didn't cover stories at all. And we had virtually rendered Black Kansas City invisible. We missed their story. We gave a false narrative about who Black Kansas City really is. And as a result of that, white Kansas City had a false narrative of who Black Kansas City is. And that perpetuated a divide. It perpetuated racism in Kansas City. We found ourselves guilty of having contributed to that. And that was very painful to see. When we uncovered that, I think it was unpainful for not just for me, but for all of the reporters that were involved with the story and the editors as well. From my perspective, the entire project was an exercise in ethics, and here's why. When you get something wrong, the ethical thing to do is to correct it. And so for me, that's what we were doing here. We found a wrong. It happened to be our own wrong, and so we corrected it. So, I mean, if we were to get something wrong in a story, the next thing that we would do the next day is we would write a correction. Well, it's been 100 years. It's time for a correction. And that's what this project did. And that was that was the biggest ethical issue of this project, the project in itself. It was I don't want to, whittle it down to just a correction, obviously, but that's one of the ways I looked at it, that we were wrong, we failed, we made some mistakes, we got it wrong many times, it's time to correct it.
I would say, I would stress to those young journalists that be curious, and be curious about how your own, place of business operates. And if you want to go fishing where the fish are, I would say legacy media, it's a pretty easy place to start. How you identify those things in a startup that, just opened its doors last year, I don't know, other than doing it the old-fashioned way and talking to employees and sourcing things the right way. But in our case, we knew the Star was not the only bad actor on the stage here.
Right.
There were, and I promise if every metropolitan newspaper in America would go back into their archives and do the similar kinds of comparisons about what they covered, how they covered it, and what they didn't cover, I think that there's a lot to be discovered there, and communities all across this land.
There are so many other communities that we haven't served well. I think 10, 20, 30 years probably, journalists can go back and do a similar sort of investigation about other ways in which we, other kinds of malpractice and mistakes that were right in front of us that we didn't see, or communities we ignored. I mean, it would be interesting to go back 10 or 20 years from now and look at how we covered the trans community, how that evolved, or the larger LGBT. So I think this is not a one-off. I think this is when you look at the broad stretch of time, I think this is something that periodically, we could always do.